full marathon. And when I went to, it was the first one I went to post it on Facebook, like, oh, my first full marathon, I did in 4:31 something. And without much of training, I was super excited, happy. And then I saw someone else's post that, oh, I qualify for Comrades. And I looked at his time, I was like, 4:50. I said, he qualified. That means I should also qualify. What is this Comrades? Let me find out. So started Googling about it, got to know about Satish and all those stuff. And then coincidentally, next month, after the Comrades, we had this local group running party where Satish was in the chief. I got a chance to talk to him and I asked him, what is that? So he's like, एक ही full किया है तुमने, be on your feet for some time. I said, sir, करते हैं ना, let's try. So he's like, okay, let's do one thing. You come for the starter ultra. Let's see how you do. And then we'll see. I said, okay. So I was a barefoot runner then. And Tata Ultra, the old route, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I started with him, and someone had told me that if you do it in 6 hours, that 50K in that route, then you can finish your comrades. I said, okay. So I started with him, but obviously couldn't keep up with him because A, I was barefoot, like with the Skinners. And secondly, obviously, I never trained for hills. I always trained on the Juhu beach, like those loops, the zero hills. But somehow managed to finish it in like 6:20 something. I don't remember now. So, and then I'm crying, oh my God, I couldn't finish. Will I be able to do it? The sir ने मुझे बोला, you know what? A lot of people could not finish. They fell on the way, and I'm so much in admire of you that you without any training, you did a 50K without any heels anything. So it gave me so much confidence कि चलो अगर 50K कर लिया तो शायद maybe we could do comrades. Let's give it a try. And I'm a kind of person who is always I want to explore and see how it feels. And
Mhm.
I never believed in like, yeah, अच्छा, what if you are not able to finish? What if things go, south, then so I'm like, even if it goes south, you still go, you get experience, you meet people, you go, and if you go to a different country, you have an opportunity to run with people from different countries. Some of them are like extremely good. You make your network. It's a different experience, and not just commerce. Any race you go, if it's a different place, you learn so much. You bring in so many stories with you. So that was my story, and I think as a backup plan, I also booked a vacation like after the congress, so that even if I fail, I will assume that only for a vacation, and I came back. But by God's grace, I could finish it, and I think it's a
Yeah,
really amazing experience.
yeah. So, guys, the important point here being that uh, when she registered, yeah, she was not like fully ready, and her Tata Ultra was not her best run. But it's okay, right? Because we all have 5 months to train, right? From February, March, April, May, and then 4 months to train, and June is the race. What you are today versus what you will be by May end, you'll be a substantially improved runner, especially for the because of the mileage that we clock in, right? So keep that in mind. I mean, your current state will not be your May end state or on the race day state. You'll be a far better runner, stronger runner, and the possibility of doing a good comrades will go up substantially. So do not judge. If you are registered, do not judge your ability to finish a comrade based on how you are today, because I'm sure, and it always happens, you improve, you do better, you improve, you clock mileage 800,000, 1,200 kilometers, and then you are a different runner, and you will really training in India versus training running there. I mean, you will really enjoy the race. So don't worry if you're not your best right now. I'm sure you will do better on the race day. So, Sonali, now that you have done it thrice, for the guys who are doing it for the first time, or the guys who are doing it the down run for the first time, what kind of mindset or thought process would you advise them over the next 4 months? Right, because it's training, it's a bit of hard training, night runs and runs 4 5 times a week, etc. What would be your guiding points for them?
Yeah. So, Kashyap, as you said that you will be a better runner as compared to what you are today. So, provided provided you follow a particular training plan and you don't overdo it.
Yeah.
I've seen many people overdoing it, and then they end up with an injury, and somewhere in the month of May they have to cancel all their plans. So here you have to take it everything very cautiously. You have to do, just because you're feeling very strong, the weather is good, doesn't mean that you overdo any kind of exercise. Follow a training plan. If I'm sure most of you are training under a coach, but if you're not training under a coach, Coach Parry's um, training plans are there on the website, Comrades website. You can download it according to your finish time, whatever is your target time, and accordingly you can train it. But what I would like to say, that whenever you're going for your training runs, so be it 3 times a week or 4 times a week, whatever it is, just be sure that you are ready for the next run. Sunday run के बाद you should be fully recovered to do your next run on Monday or Tuesday, whenever it is. If you're not recovered, take a call accordingly and then reduce the intensity or the duration of the run. Even when a coach tells you a plan, you are the best judge for yourself, I feel. Your coach will not be knowing what are your hardships, what are your challenges, maybe at home, at workplace. So you have to judge yourself. You have to judge, how much rest have you taken, have you had enough sleep, did you eat well, and accordingly go for the next training session. Rest and recovery plays a very important role, because this I've learned somewhere from my experience also. Just because the weather is very good, I used to sometimes, go overboard, do more mileage and all. But always more is not good, and you should be very cautious about it. Similarly, along with mileage, something that we need to really focus on is strength training and cross training. Many people don't do strength training. They feel that mileage itself is good enough, but everyone is different. What works for me may not work for other people, but for me, what I feel is strength training is something really very important. Rest, as I focused on rest and nutrition, so these three elements are equally important as mileage. So maybe you can plan your day accordingly, and days of the week also. For some, Sundays could be working, or Saturdays could be very heavily loaded working day, so they may not be able to do a Sunday good long run. They can choose some other day where they can do it, or split their runs into, AM PM run, or back to back run, Saturday Sunday. I've seen some people running on Saturday evening and then running on Sunday morning on tired legs. So you can experiment and see what suits you, and accordingly you should take a call. But focus on strength training, rest, recover, and cross training also, maybe cycling, walking. In Comrades, you need to walk a lot, so you should practice walking also. If walking is not possible, maybe climb the stairs whenever possible in your office premises, in your building also. Instead of taking the lift, it will take a couple of minutes more to reach your floor, but at least try and do it a couple of times, and that will help you. Gradually it will help you. Don't start climbing 20 floors and on the first day itself. Maybe start with 5 floors and then gradually increase it that way. So try and have a mixture of activities. Let it not be only running is there, of course long runs are there, and of course not to miss those 4 long runs, important ones. Feb Tata Ultra is there, March, April, and May. These 3 more runs, practice runs, need to be done at night. And I think after that it's sorted. Once you do the 65-kilometer run, the confidence is there. Another 25 to go, and I think that's good enough.
Manageable. Yeah. No, so
Achieve.
I like the 2 points that you touched here, right? One is, of course, recovery, because it's a long journey, right? It's almost 4 months and another 10 days. So, like 125 days plus. So, it's a long journey, and hence it is important that through the course of the training we recover, right? And we recover well. And that is why sleep patterns, sleep duration, as you said, nutrition, all those things become extremely important, because you need to last, right? You need to last the 4 months plus the another 10-15 days, and which is what we need to keep in mind, right? This is not a T20. In cricket analogy, you got to consider it like a test cricket. You have to last those 4-5 days, and hence you got to last here for 5 months. I have seen, as Sonali said, mental fatigue, body aches in especially in May, when there is a lot of load of mileage that has been taken. So everybody who is following a training plan, tweak the training plan to suit your lifestyle, your ability, how you sleep, what kind of nutrition you take, and recovery. And definitely don't overdo it. Clearly, don't overdo it on the training. Don't overdo it on the race day. The key to a good comrades is having a realistic assessment about your own self, which you will get. You might not have it today, but once you do your 50, 55, 65, you will know what you can do, and hence that is how you need to do it. It's not that race day may I will squeeze off 15 seconds per kilometer ho jayega. I don't think that is the right way to do it, because the distance is long, and the terrain is different from what you would train on any terrain here, right? So while not to scare anyone, but the distance is long. It's a 12-hour day, and you got to plan accordingly. So recovery and the fact that you got to last those four and a half months and not overdoing, is something that one should focus on. Uh, Aarti, to you, did you when you finished your Tata Ultra taking 6 hours, then what? Then how did you kind of get into a training plan so that you could do a good comrades?
So this 626, what I'm talking about is in year 2020. And
Uh,
that year, Congress didn't take place. For next two
uh,
years, there wasn't Congress. Right? So in
yeah.
2022, when I started again, I had to re-qualify myself.
Uh,
Now I suddenly got up and I started, running, and to build up the mileage for a full marathon, it takes time. And I was obviously didn't have so much time, and I was a barefoot runner. So I went to Goa with little bit of very little mileage, as little as maybe for a half marathon. I went to Goa to qualify. I thought maybe I'll do it. I was overconfident. And there I struggled. I struggled because I was barefoot and I didn't do very much training. And there, so why I'm talking about this race particularly is because even though I would have done like a full marathon barefoot in the past, like a 4:31 or an ultra marathon, Tata Ultra, kind of difficulties, but every race you need to introspect. Every single run you need to come, analyze, make your own notes to see what could have been better, what went wrong, and what went well. I mean everything, right? How was your feeling? So in that race, I realized I struggled because A, I had less mileage, which is okay. I still could have done it. Second issue was I had my feet were not conditioned because there was not much mileage and I was barefoot. So skills I started chilne lagya because of the road those right. So in second half I struggled and somehow managed to finish it in 5 hours. Now imagine first marathon in 4:31 and this one second one I'm struggling. So the conclusion I derived from this is that okay, I need to first choose the shoes. A lot of people, suggested go for those zeros and lunas and all the sandals, barefoot running, and all that. I said no. Shoes means shoes. I need good pair of shoes. So I switched to shoes. Then I obviously had to do a little bit of mileage, and just I think a month and a half, like December end somewhere, it was Goa run, and then in February types, we went to Pune. Again, I wasn't like 100% prepared because I'm recovering and then trying to adapt to running in shoes. And suddenly within 2 months, you go and again go for qualification. So we went to this one. There was some Pune, there was some runs, night May, and yeah, sir pushed me like, okay, we'll try. And I qualified in 4:37. Now, here's the twist. See, I had a difficulty running a 5 hours, and next 1.5 month, I'm ready with new challenge like adapting to shoes. Okay. And I'm running a 4:30 marathon, 4:37 marathon. It's a very interesting story. When we say, some people say, oh, I have flat foot, I have pronation, I have, supination, whatever, all those things. And I've seen people. My theory is, and then also supported by, we have one of very well-known physio, Nikhil Latte sir, Dr. Nikhil Latte. He also supposed that whatever be your form, not natural form, have let's say एक पैर थोड़ा छोटा है, एक थोड़ा बड़ा है, flat है, जो भी है, it is your body will adapt to it, right? It takes time, but your body adapts to it. So my body adapted. It took some time, but within 1.5, like some people adapt faster, some people adapt slower. But idea is to look for those signs that will make you understand your body. Okay. And give it some time to accept whatever additional external you're trying to do with it. So I qualified for 4:37. And then I obviously started training with Satish sir. And then we had this Tata Ultra. And like I was always had this mind, 6 hours. Put it in my mind, 6 hours. Otherwise, you can't finish Comrades. I said, okay. I went for it. I finished in, again. I missed Satisha's bus. Somehow, I always do that. So I finished in 6 hours, 6 minutes. Okay, that 50K. Now I'm coming and crying and telling my friends how I couldn't keep up with Satisha, and they're like, भगवान से डरो, तुम 6 घंटे के आसपास ही करके आया हो. You can do bronze. Now, this is second thing which is put in my mind, and I got stuck with it. And I'm going telling Satish, sir, I'll do bronze. Well, पागल है क्या 437 when you are qualifying, मर कि you will do bronze. I said, no, sir, I will do bronze. Okay. And I change all my passwords everywhere, everything is sub 11, bronze, sub 11, Comrades bronze, everywhere the password, everything is like around this. So, दिन
Interesting.
में 50 बार focus. And when I was thinking about this, every time I used to think about, that Arjun story where everyone else is seeing like trees and branches and bird and everything. The Arjun, he has to shot that story कि आपको सिर्फ
Yes.
आंख दिख रही है, अर्जुन की आंख दिख रही है, तो मुझे जीते जागते सोते खाते पीते सिर्फ वो ब्रॉन्ज दिख रहा है. I don't care. And then we started with those training runs, and I struggled in every training. I'm crying from the 9th kilometer. And I said, Satish, sir, nahi ho raha hai. Sir, nahi ho raha hai. Every single long run, I'm crying. Okay. Now, I started after a couple of such long runs, first, second,
So
third.
what kind of total mileage did you end up doing
I
in
did
those 4 months?
probably, I would have done like 700, 800, not much.
800
I'm
kilometers.
a
Yeah.
low mileage person. And there
Okay.
was an occasion when I was like completely given up, fatigued, and I told Satish, sir, it's not happening. We spoke to doctor, I forgot the name, but I'll tell you later. We spoke to that person. It's like, sir, what could have been wrong? It's like, first is nutrition, focus on, he gave me like,
Hmm.
put honey in curd and look, those turmeric and drumstick soup, all those. So I followed all of this ghar ka remedy. And second is, there was that 1 week where people were doing 35K on Saturday and 25K on Sunday, and I did like zero, nothing, zero run. He's like, just sleep, आराम कर. Okay. उसके बाद we had to do the 65. So all of these trainings, I was suffering, and I introspected, and I told Satisha something. And I have this habit of always going back and looking about what went wrong in my run, what could have been better. And I realized that one thing that
So,
was wrong with me was I can't run with a group, because when I run fast or when I'm feeling strong, the group is going easy. I have to slow
so
down. When I'm,
yeah.
yeah,
So I think 800 kilometers as a total mileage is something that kind of helped you do the Comrades, and that is where I think one question that gets probably answered, right? People always ask this question: what is the total mileage that one should do? So I think that 800 is probably the low end of the mileage requirement. Between 800 to 1200 is where most of us land. And of course, there are people who want to do a faster Comrades, a stronger Comrades. They do more than 1200 also, but uh, as a guiding factor, 800 se niche nahi karte over the next, including
I think
Feb.
I'll just add to it. See,
Um,
everyone has a different body requirement and different way of. So if even if someone is trying for a faster run, like for example, why did I not come back again? Is because I want to do a better medal. If after qualifying for a 437, if I could get a bronze, then now when my PB is 346, I don't go for a bronze, maybe for a sub 10 or maybe for a sub 9, optimistically. So when I go again, I want to bring a better medal. That's my goal. I don't want a green number. I want a better medal for
yeah, that's
myself, not for
fine.
country.
That's a
Right.
choice. Yeah.
So the thing is, uh, so there's a theory of how much your run can give you benefits. As per your body and as per your space, there is a threshold of number of hours on feet, beyond which, if you're still running, okay, your body is only accumulating fatigue and delaying your recovery time.
Yeah.
Now, what happens is, why do we still train like 8 hours, 9 hours? Is only to train your mind. Okay. क्योंकि
Yeah.
जब आपने वो 50-60 कर लिया है, तो आपके माइंड में कि इतना तो मैंने कर ही लिया था, तो इतना तो मैं कर ही
Yeah.
सकता हूँ या कर ही सकती हूँ, राइट? So when you do these long runs, you're not actually training your body, you're training your mind. Okay. So in any ultra distance, and Comrades is just one race, but any ultra distance run, what matters is, one is your mindset, second is execution. Of course, you touched upon the training part of it. You need strength training, you need recovery, you need
I'll,
to
I'll I'll
get
come
proper
to
sleep.
race execution as a separate question that I think we need to answer for everyone. But I take your points that, of course, mindset is important. The ability of the mind to stick through those 12 hours, 10 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours is important, right? Because it's a long day. Most of us will get up at 2 o'clock, and then by the time we are done with the race, it's almost 5 o'clock in the evening on that day. So it's like a 15-hour day where you are focused, and hence the mental strength is important. And that is where this precisely the long runs kind of help. I agree.
There is
Doctor,
one
for
more
you,
point. There is one more point I would like to add here. See, what we do is most of our training runs, if you see, we start in the night, like 12ish. Okay. And when we are not doing those 50 Ks or 65 Ks, we're getting up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, starting our run at 4. Trust me, we need to change the way we do it, like how I do it. You are training in the morning times when the weather is slightly colder, and when you go to the race, we run in the afternoon section where there are like most of the people walking. The sun is like on top of your head, and that
so
is where you
Aarti, there,
slow
there I'll,
down.
I'll, I'll, I'll I'll differ. So two reasons, right? We train here in Bombay or anywhere for that matter in India. We do night runs because if you start at 4 o'clock in the morning and if you are asked to run till 10, 11 o'clock, it is just too tough, right? Because you're training in like peak heat months of April, May, uh, in March,
Agree.
April, May, right? So that is one challenge. And second is the weather there is significantly different from the weather here.
Colder.
That's uh, because most of the times, in fact, when we start in Petermaritzburg, I think that is something that we should talk about. When we start in Petermaritzburg, the weather will be sub 10 degrees. And then it will go slowly increase. And by the time you reach Durban, it will be closer to 20. So we'll start in extreme cold and then slowly it will get warmer. And there are patches and areas when you do the down run also, which are windy. So you will feel the cold, right? So Sonali, to bring you in, I mean, how do you? Uh, People ask that question to us, right? What should you be wearing on the race day in the morning? Because Petermaritzburg is cold. Petermaritzburg will be cold, and through the day, then it yeah. I mean, you don't have to be extra wearing extra layers through the day. But so what should people do? What do people do?
So in Peter Marisburg, when the run starts at 5:30, we reach the seeding batches by 4:30. Most of
Yeah.
us reach by 4:30. So 1 hour when you're not doing anything, you're just standing or sitting there, you really feel very cold. So some of the things that we can do to keep ourselves warm is having cotton in your ears. Okay, see, the main thing is that your ears should be covered properly,
Hmm.
head, toes, and fingers. Once
Hmm.
you cover them and once they are warm, then you will not feel that cold. So
Hmm.
I always, what I do is I always put cotton in my ears, and
Hmm.
I wear a cap. So cap is there. Maybe the bandana that we get usually in the TMM or Tata Ultra, that can also be used to cover your ears.
Yes.
And yeah, and it helps to cover your nose also. You can just pull it up so it can
Hmm.
keep your face warm.
Hmm.
And yeah, feet, obviously we all are wearing shoes and socks, so that's kept warm. And for fingers, what I do is I use those latex surgical gloves.
Hmm.
Okay. So you can just use them, wear them, and once you're feeling warm after a kilometer or 2 kilometers of run, you can just remove them and dispose them off. That's the easiest way that one can do. Disposable gloves, you can wear it, and that's good enough. And I wear layers of t-shirt, and those t-shirts, as I feel warm, then I remove and discard them.
Discard
So
them. Yeah.
yes, for the both the down runs, I was wearing two t-shirts, one top of the other, because I'm a person who feels cold a lot. I
Yeah.
cannot bear the cold. If I'm sitting there for 1 hour, I'll just
Yeah.
freeze there. So I wear two t-shirts on top of my Indian tricolor t-shirt, and then as the distance goes by and I'm running, then I dispose them one by one. But the cotton in the ear, I keep it till at least halfway till the sun is up, because when it's windy, also it becomes very difficult for the ears. And the bandana is there to protect you, for your ears and nose also, because it's quite cold in Pietermaritzburg, and the weather is actually very unpredictable. And when you reach that Umla's road, I think the highest point there, you
Highest
also
point.
you feel very cold there, you feel
Yeah.
very cold even if you're running. But by the
Yeah.
time you reach there, it's quite windy and you start feeling cold.
Yeah,
So
because it is the highest point, and it is 3 4 hours into your run. So while a lot of us at times are in a hurry to take off the layers that we are wearing, But then when we go and reach there, you realize, yeah, it is cold, it is windy. I wish I wouldn't have taken it off. I think that
Yes, yes. So I would
experience,
suggest, you
yeah.
should better be wearing those two layers and maybe just remove one layer. And, we can also use those compression arm sleeves. Compression arm sleeves, because they protect you not only from the cold, but later on when it's sunny also, it protects you from the sun also. So
Yeah.
that also helps, compression arm sleeves.
Yeah, I mean, so 2, 3 points, right? Of course, the weather is cold at Peter Maritzburg when you start. You will be standing before the race starts almost an hour. You have to reach your respective zones, seeding zones by 4:30 because it slowly starts getting very crowded. It is cold, so it's better to be overdressed than underdressed because you can always take it off. Be mentally prepared to throw away what you're wearing because a lot of us who wear those pullovers, they kind of throw it away after some time because it's just when it gets warm. But don't be in a hurry to throw it away, right? Just take some time, stay with it, because as Sonali said, Umlas becomes very cold. Umlas is cold, and then it is important that you have something on you. And then, of course, as you come closer to Durban, then it becomes far easier and better because then you are in the 15 plus degree kind of stuff. Uh, do you feel the sun on you? Is the question also that people ask. At times you do, but what is your experience?
Yes, you do feel, but it's more on the up run. In the down run, you don't feel much. So
Yeah,
first year that I ran, it was in August, and the weather was so unpredictable. It was drizzling also towards
yeah,
the end. As we reached Pine Town, it was drizzling, and in fact, I started feeling cold that time. As we were
yeah,
nearing to Durban, it was drizzling, and I was feeling cold. But then after that, we had the runs in June. Down run is okay. You feel the heat, but not much. But
yeah.
up run, the sun comes directly on your face. So if you're doing an up run, then you need, of course, a cap and glares.
Hmm.
But during
But
down run, not much.
so while of course in August when the Comrades happened, it did drizzle, but otherwise in the 8 years that I have been, it has never rained, thankfully. So I think while yeah, it is something that can happen any day, but it's not something that we should worry about. I guess the other important part, right? Once we are through with the race, when you are at the finish after the finish point, because you've gone through a 90-kilometer run, you will feel cold. So
Right.
it is important while they give a pullover something to wear, but it's not adequate. So it is important that if you have a talk bag, then that talk bag has something which is warm on you. If you have your family waiting or anyone waiting, it is good that they have something for you to keep you warm, whether it is a jacket, a sweater, a blanket. But kuch hoga to better hai. I think that is something that everyone should clearly keep in mind. The other part that I think I wanted to talk about is nutrition. So, Aarti, what was your race day nutrition strategy?
So I'm blessed person when it comes to food. Um, I can just eat anything, even a pizza or a vada pav and run. But on a Saturday when we were traveling, to the start point, because we were planning to stay there for the night, I missed my breakfast and I missed my lunch, and I just had little rice after reaching there, like in the evening times. Uh, so I didn't really eat properly on a Saturday. And Sunday morning, so I was carrying some theplas with me. So I had my theplas while walking to the start point. I had two theplas. Yet because I missed my meal on Saturday, I was feeling hungry like at 9-ish kilometer. So for down run, I think this is one thing which is important to remember is that, you don't get in the, and I may be wrong, Sonali can probably, correct me because I just did one. In the beginning, like 15, 20 kilometers, you don't get anything to eat. All you
Yeah, you
get is
don't
a
get solid
thirsty.
food
Yeah.
on the water
Very
point.
true. Very
So
true.
it's best to have a backup plan, whatever works for you. Like someone suggested a Parle G to me, but that Parle G makes your mouth so
Yeah,
because you're running, so your mouth gets so dry as it's windy, it just gets stuck to your mouth, so you can't eat. So the other alternative, whatever works for you, need to have an alternate option for first 15, 20 kilometers. And like, we get these potatoes. So usually in our regions, we have this potato with the salt. But there, I don't know, somehow I didn't see it, or I don't know, I missed it, or they didn't keep it. You don't have a salt with potato. I didn't find it actually. So that is again, if you get accustomed to having potato just like that, not trying to look for a taste in it. Um,
So it's
also,
important to have the right fueling on the previous
right
day. Of course,
fueling,
it goes without saying.
exactly.
And for the important part also being that there in Durban, you will find food. You will find Indian food. So do not worry about it. There are restaurants which serve veg and non-veg. You will get dal, you will get rice, you will get bhaji, you will get chapati or roti, etc. There is also a Guju restaurant which will serve absolutely pure veg
Look at-
food. Either you go there or a lot of us order. That guy delivers. He works very hard for all of us on those days. So you will get khichdi as well. You will get batata bhaji as well. You will get curry. So food is not a challenge when you are in Durban. From Thursday onwards, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you will get to eat food which is familiar. So you don't have to eat unfamiliar food, and that food is kind of reasonably good quality and not very spicy, not very oily. So I don't think there'll be any challenges or issues. For pure vegetarians, as I said, there is one restaurant which serves all of that Guju food, which is good. In the mornings, I think one point here on it, whichever hotels you are staying, right? In the morning, the ability to get veg breakfast is a bit limited because you will get bread butter, you will get fruits, you will get yogurt, you will get juices, you will get pancakes, you will get waffles. But you're not gonna get dosa, idli, upma, vada, poha, all that you will not get for breakfast in the morning in any of the hotels that you are staying. So please keep that in mind. If you are someone who needs all of that, you can either go to that Guju place to go and have your breakfast. But otherwise, I think people who eat eggs, no problem. People who eat non-veg, no problem. So keep that in mind. Whichever hotel
They
you're staying,
can
I
they
think they
can
should go.
also carry those dehydrated, vacuum
Yeah,
dehydrated packets and
packed
just
food, you can carry pre-packed food, you can warm it and have it. These days, everything is available, pre-packed, pre-cooked stuff. So you can, of course, should do that. On the race day, right? So Sonali, what do you carry? What do you eat on the race day? You carry gels with you. Another important, just one point here before I you come in. Breakfast in the morning is important on the race day, and hence have a proper breakfast on the long run days. Eat something, right? Because you are going to have food at 2 o'clock in the morning. Uske baad proper food you will only have at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. You need energy all through the race. So please, you will need to have breakfast on race day, and hence it is important that all the long runs that we do, we start following that practice. Today we might not be doing it when we are training for a full, but when we are training for this longer distance, when you do the Tata Ultra, when we do the 55, 56, 65, I think you should start getting into that habit of eating something which makes sense to you, so that you can replicate it on the race day also. Yeah, Sonali, sorry.
Yeah.
Race day
So
strategy.
yeah, yeah. So most of the long runs that we do, we started at night, and we have all had our dinner at 6:37. So 12 o'clock when you start, you usually just start with a banana and then you start the run. What I would suggest that when you do a 35 or a 40 kilometers during your practice runs, so maybe that time you can start with having that bread and peanut butter. Get used to what is available there. Bread and peanut butter is easily available at all the hotels wherever you're staying. Banana is there, cereals are there, oats is there. So maybe you can start making that habit that whenever you go for your Saturday or Sunday long run, you can have that and then start your run. That is one of the things. I take gels, but as as Aarti said, and I have always noticed it, that for the first 20 kilometers you don't get anything other than water. So it's
Water
better.
and Enazal, Enagate, I mean.
Yes, enerzal. The enerzal that you get is similar to Gatorade that we get here.
Yeah.
The same taste, I would say. So if anyone wants to get used to that drink, because many a times people have been asking this on the group, so you can start taking Gatorade and get used to that flavor. The flavor is
Very
very much
nice. Yeah.
palatable, and it's a good flavor. There are in different colors: blue, orange, pink, different flavors, but it's a nice taste and easily digestible
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
So
It is just
basically,
that, yeah,
yeah,
it comes in sachet, plastic sachet.
fashion.
Water as well as this Enagate is in plastic sachet. So you should able to, with your teeth, pull it out and then sip and then kind of throw it away.
and I think they give it at the expo also, right? When you collect,
Yeah. Expo, you
they
get the same drink in a bottle.
yeah. So you know what? There is a trick to it, and it worked for most of the time. Like you get So if you reach Expo on Thursday or a Friday, you collect those bottles, and if possible, like I know it's not the best way to do it, but try to get at least two bottles. Finish one bottle on Friday and one bottle on Saturday. So because it has electrolytes, they'll just bring your electrolytes level higher, and the chances of getting cramps during the race will be lower. So you
Hmm.
can either consume one on Saturday, one on Friday, or Saturday whole day one bottle, and Sunday morning as you reach near the start venue, keep sipping little. It's just a trick to keep your electrolytes levels high.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
it is.
that's what
It is.
we do in usual runs
Hmm,
also.
hmm.
During our long
Yeah.
runs, we always take electrols, Enerzal a day prior and pre-race also.
Yeah.
But
So
for the first 20 kilometers, I would suggest,
there is no
carry a
solid
banana or
food.
something
Yeah,
in your
there is
hand.
no solid food.
Yeah,
So
so
whatever
carry a banana
you
in
need
your
to
pocket.
carry on yourself, right? Through for the
Yeah.
race, gels hai, ya to dates you eat, or you're someone who consumes banana. It is important that you carry. Probably after first 20-30 kilometers, you will get at the water points. You will get potato. You will get banana. You will get some other stuff. But in the first 2-3 hours, you will not get anything solid to eat at the water points. Though there are 42 water points, right? And they are long ones. They are watery because everybody is throwing those things on the ground. So when we pass the water points, we have to be careful so that we don't hurt others and hurt ourselves, right? Generally, crowd will slow down, so we all will be forced to slow down, but it's okay. I mean, that's what all water points are. So we have to be careful
And
on.
they are cold and they're super cold, so better to get used to those cold water.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It is cold, I agree, but I mean, yeah. So, but yeah, it is what it is. Right. So the other point, of course, I wanted to talk about, which you touched, is the.
Just one minute,
Yeah,
Kashyap. I
sure, sure,
wanted to say,
Sonali.
see, dates and chikki is not available there.
Yeah,
Though last year, the consulate had two counters and they had arranged for it. But if you're very much used to dates and chikki, if you have practiced on dates and chikki, then it's better to carry. But
yeah.
then the thing is that, you wouldn't want to carry more. The more you carry, the more your weight,
More weight on you.
and then you don't feel like running, and towards the end you get irritated. I mean, ye bhi hai, wo bhi hai. So the minimum things you carry on you is easier. So get used to oranges. You get plenty of oranges, and the oranges are very tasty there.
Yeah,
So oranges, banana, potatoes, you get in abundance. Biscuits, small packets of biscuits are there, 4 or 5 biscuits in one
mm,
packet. Just pick those couple of packets, and keep moving and keep eating. So
yeah,
just keep on moving. Don't
yeah,
stand at any point, because every 10 steps also you take, you're closer towards the finish line. Don't stop and eat. Even if,
yeah.
when you're eating, just move forward. And
Correct.
this some milk based drink also, those who can tolerate milk during runs can take that. They have it in different flavors. Banana is one of the flavors. Some people liked it, they found it filling, and if you can tolerate milk, you can take it.
Yeah, but don't. If you have never
Experiment.
tried it, we never take it. If you take it, don't then blame the milk because you took choose to take the milk. Right? So avoid करेंगे तो ठीक है. So people whose families are going to meet, right, on the race, they meet at 2-3 points. Yeah, they can give you what you want, but at the same time, do not fully depend on them because there is a lot of crowd, a lot of traffic. At times, families are not able to even meet the runners at points at they what they had agreed. So that risk is always there. So even if your family is going to give you something, it is better that you yourself are well equipped and not really dependent. If मिल गए कुछ दे दिया उन्होंने जो भी चाहिए था जेल एक्सेट्रा good for you. But if नहीं होता है तो yeah, I mean that's a risk that is always kind of always there, right? So let's kind of also try to touch upon while we did mention strength training, right? Is there a Aarti, did you do or are you someone who regularly strength trains? And do you do that? What is the frequency at which you would do? And if you were training for a comrades, what frequency would you do strength training in a week?
so I'll tell you, I have a very horrible work schedule. I work in the hours, which is my office starts at 1:30 in the afternoon, for which I leave at 12 o'clock in the 12:15 from my house. And I come back home by 12ish. So I go to bed by 1. So for me, practically, it's not possible to wake up at 5 or 4 or start my run. I start my day at 7:30 in the morning. Like I get up, run, like I said, heat training. I not that I intentionally did it, but it worked for me because my schedule like that.
Yeah.
So that's one. Second is I did try to do strength training whenever I had the opportunity, but most of the time I would end up missing it because you also have to look after your house, and I'm single, so I need to take care of a lot of things, like be the main men and the women of the, like, both the parts of taking care of the house.
Yeah.
So, but what I did, it's something called as method training. What I do is, like, most of the time I have a office cab that I could take to come back home, and but I always use public transport. So I take four every day when I'm going to office and coming back. I'm taking the railway bridge four times,
Hmm.
and I carry all my meals. So it's like almost all dabbas for 2 3 meals, whatever I'm going to have, my lunch, my dinner, and my evening snack. It makes my bag a little heavy. So with that I'm climbing like steps every single time. Even in office, whenever I have the opportunity, I just go climb up, come back
Hmm.
by elevator. But so I use those opportunities when I have the
Though that
opportunity
is
to.
your pseudo strength
That
training.
that's my pseudo training, and anything. Let's say my maid hasn't come, I'll do the cleaning. So because and then every time I feel like I'm tired, I will just push myself like I'm running, like always late, because there's so much to do. Like as a female, every time meeting, थोड़ा सा ये कर जाऊं, थोड़ा सा वो कर जाऊं करके ना. So I'm always late. So I'm running on those railway platform, running behind the train, catching, and so for me, I think somehow it has worked. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
we do
guys, this is her
strengthening.
experience. This is not a suggested training model.
No, 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 it's not the model, but if you're not able to in
Yeah,
day-to-day
of
life,
course,
you
of
have a
course. If
lot
you
of things
can't, you
where.
don't have, time doesn't permit, what do you do? That's absolutely fair. But as we believe, right, and for most of us, right, the average age of all of us is above 40, and I clearly believe hence training becomes important. So Sonali, would you strength train differently for a down run versus an up run?
No, no. My strengthening has been the same for the up run as well as down run. Nothing
Hmm.
different. But as you said also, after 40, we start losing our muscle mass. And with women, it is more. So
Hmm.
I focus really on strength training because that has what has helped me in the up run, especially
Hmm.
because my mileage wasn't much in the last year. Although otherwise it's around 1,000 kilometers, 1,000 to 1,200. I try to keep it, but and I had an injury last year, and then I had very few months to train for the up run. And what I focused was on this time was on the strength training only. And yes, strength training has helped me a lot. And I would suggest that we should all do strength training at least twice a week.
Yeah. So does that mean you kind of do 3 to 4 days of running and 2 days of strength training? So kind of a 6 day workout week?
Yes, yes, yes. My running I've is usually 3 days a week, at times 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And but strength training, I don't miss on the strength training. It's twice a week, and one
Okay.
day maybe I'll just do stretching, which is on my rest day. I do a good stretching session for around 30 to 40 minutes of
Oh,
stretching.
interesting. Yeah. So basically, something you're doing something every week, every day of the week. Your rest day is your day when you kind of stretch a lot. I think that is something that a lot of us give less importance to, but I clearly agree that it's important. And you try to ensure that you get those two strength training sessions in a week. If you need to skip something, you'll skip a run. Instead of doing 4 days of run, you will probably do three
Yes,
days,
yes,
right?
yes.
So
I'll do
three
3 days
plus
and catch
two
up on my
better than,
sleep on
yeah,
that day.
yeah.
I'll
Three
catch
plus
up
two
on my
better
sleep.
than 4+1.
Yes,
And of
yes.
course, stretching something that is important. So guys, we are almost 50 minutes into the conversation. Please put your questions on the chat, and then I will try to summarize, filter, and ask both of them while we kind of continue to talk. Uh, let's spend some time on race day execution. Okay, so we have trained, we know how we are, what we are. Uh, how do you? While I have my theory, which I'll of course share, do you guys? How do you plan your race? Precisely. So, Aarti, first you go. How do you plan your long distance race? Because it's an extremely long race, and a lot of things happen. But do you? And there are six cutoffs. Do you? How do you plan your race? Do you break it down into cutoff to cutoff? What is it that's in your mind when you are, or what is your strategy?
So, first of all, so there are two strategies. One is the pace, second is the nutrition, right? And I'm not talking about the mindset right now. I'm just talking about nutrition and the pace. So, based upon whatever trainings you have done so far, let's say Tata Ultra and all those trainings, you will get to know that what is the pace that you can sustain on uphill and then the downhill. So you need to do that kind of analysis to understand realistically what is that time you can target. Okay.
Yeah.
And then based on, and you have the elevation profile for the race, like it's easy level is shared in the group also. So
Yeah.
you see, okay, so you need to cut your sections, like all those 5 cutoffs. You
Yeah.
need to decide, okay, this section is this much elevation, and
Mm.
this is what the average pace I can, preferably or possibly I can look at, right?
Mm.
So when I ran my race, I told Satisha that I think I can do sub 11, and you got to help me chart out that plan. Okay, so he helped me created, okay, first half, first cutoff this much time, this pace, second cutoff this. So we kind of planned out. And any given point in time during the race, I was only focusing on that cutoff. So I was actually running with that letter, like, the paper
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
the cutoff. And people actually making fun that, oh, you get a love letter from India. I said, no, Baba, it's not love letter.
Yeah. So
But
kind of breaking
I
the race
looked
into
at
7 races because there are 6 cutoffs, and then
the small
targeting to finish
races.
each cutoff by a
Yes.
particular time, and sticking to that, right? And not really running
With a
faster
little
even if you
buffer,
fell
I would
short.
say, but a little. Correct,
Yeah,
correct,
buffer. Of
correct.
course,
And
there
any
needs to be a
point in
buffer.
time you may feel, yeah, and any point in time if you feel like, oh, you're like completely breathless, that's a
Huh.
sign that probably you're not able to sustain. So in that moment, you need to slow down a bit. Of course, keep moving, like Sonali mentioned, keep moving. So, but you have to slow down, bring your heart rate down, and then start again. Because there would be occasions like it happened with me at somewhere 45-ish. I was completely down, and I was like feeling, oh my God, I can't run. It's over for me. I was literally into tears. And then I saw people passing by, nobody looking at me, nobody trying to help me, and like, oh my God, I can't do this to myself. I have to, collect myself and fix it. So I got up, I had cramps, and I got up and started running. So slowly, 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 and then later I got the
Yeah, so,
so
so this is an important point, right? Because it's a very longer distance. I always say, right, you as Sonali said, keep moving ahead. You will get a second wind. You might not be feeling great at that point in time, but do not ever give up on the race till the bus comes and picks you up. Keep
yes,
moving, keep moving. You never know. You might get a nice downslope. You might get some energy. The weather might change a bit. From sunny, it might become a little bit cooler. Or you might just find a good looking runner around you. Anything can happen, right? But do not give up clearly on the race till the bus picks you up.
and
Sonali, your strategy would your strategy be different? I mean, this is of course a good point to break the strategy into 7 races after 3-4 months into the training.
Yeah. So what
And
I
has
do
it
is,
changed? Has it changed over your 3 comrades?
no, 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 no. My strategy has been the same. So if the first cutoff is at 2:45, I aim to reach there maximum by 2:30. And so it's, when you're 12-hour run, you're tired mentally, physically, and then your brain doesn't work. So these calculations, I make a small chart out of it,
Yeah,
laminate it, and put it like a visiting
yeah,
card in my pocket, or I even stick it on my bottle.
yeah.
I've kept it both way. Even if the card falls, then I have something
Hmm.
on the bottle. So it's printed on my
Interesting. Yeah.
bottle, so with the marker, and
Hmm.
then I can read it. And I break down the race that way. So, okay, I
Yeah.
had to reach this particular point by this time. This is done. One of the hurdles has been crossed. That way, you keep on doing it. So you have always a plan B and plan C in your mind, because
Hmm.
this is the last that you have to reach. By 2:30, you have to reach the first cutoff.
Hmm.
Drummond, you have to reach by a particular time. So once that is set, I think it's easy.
Yeah. So that is important, right? Which is what I think most of us do and should do. I will also, I mean, just take a picture of your and put it on the group, Sonali, for other references for others. I'll also do
Sure,
what
sure.
I have. So exactly the similar strategy, right? Okay, stick to a plan, break your race into 7 cutoffs. Do not overdo initially. Do not, even if you are feeling good, strong, weather is excellent. मैं जोर से भागता हूँ आज मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है. Do not do that. If, as per your 4 months of training, your capacity is to run a 10:55, you please stick to that plan for the first 70 kilometers. After that, try to push. Do not push in the first half, right? Clearly, that is something that can backfire later. So there is a question on starting point and seeding, right? So uh, just one, there are sections from A to H. Most of us, unless we are extremely fast, are in H, G, F, etc. Uh, and it's a gun point race. It's not like when you cross your timing starts, right? So whenever the gun goes off, it starts. People who are in H, because Peter Maritzburg has narrow streets, you will lose 7 to 8 minutes before you start the starting point. So please budget that. Please be aware of that. Do not panic. पहले से ही उसको factor in करके रखो कि you have to finish your race in 11:52, so that you don't panic. And 8 minutes से ज़्यादा rarely होता है. There are times where turns में it becomes so crowded that you have to pause and walk. There is nothing you can do because it's so crowded. So वो करना पड़ेगा. Comrades में slopes में you will have to walk. Start walking before you need to start walking. Okay, so in your trainings also we got to build that in, that walking on the uphills, walking on the slopes is something that you should practice. And because on the race day you will need to do it. People who walk faster on the slopes actually end up doing better. I'm a very poor walker. I just can't walk fast on the uphills. And that is why I realized that people who are behind me walk karke, they always end up going ahead of me, and I'm struggling then to walk faster. Yes, Sonali, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so I just remembered one
Yeah,
point. So when you calculate the cutoffs, don't calculate as per their timing. Okay, they'll say
yeah,
the first cutoff, for example, is at 18.3. But
yeah,
remember the one who is in H, he has to calculate 500 meters extra till he reaches the timing mat.
yeah, yeah,
So that 18.3 plus 500. And remember, you will go by your Garmin. And when you do a Tata Mumbai marathon also, it's always 42.5 or 42.6. But the
hmm,
distance is 42.2 officially. So calculate those 400, 500 meters
yeah,
extra.
yeah,
I always
100%.
calculate 1.5 kilometer extra. If it is 18.3, then I calculate that it should be 20 kilometers in my watch. It's better to be safe than to be sorry later on. So
Yeah,
even if the race is, if you the official distance, if they discloses that as 87.9, please consider it to be 90 only, and prepare accordingly mentally also. क्योंकि क्या होता है ना, once you see in the watch, अरे मेरे घड़ी में तो 88 हो गया, it is not getting over, you might feel a bit dejected also. And especially with the cutoff points, initial cutoff points, your calculation might go haywire. So it's always better to keep a buffer of 1 to 1.5 kilometers, because you go crisscross zigzag, and then you take a washroom break. The washroom ke liye you go beyond the running track, you go to the washroom. So that distance will also, the small 10, 10, 20 meters also keep on adding up later on.
yeah. The other important point, right? 2, 3 days into the race, when you're at the expo on Thursday or Friday or even on Saturday, do not tire yourself. Please be very smart that you need the best state on the race day. So यहाँ वहाँ घूम के डरबन में एक्साइट होके बीच देख के एक्सपो देख के, do not waste your time, do not tire your legs, please rest. You're there to run, you're not there to shop at the expo, you're not there to click pictures at the expo. While we will do a bit of all of that, but the most important part being not getting tired by walking around everywhere. Please try to avoid that. There's another question on cutoff timing. Cutoff timings are there on the website. Please go through the website. The website actually has all the details that you need. So each cutoff का क्या distance है, क्या timing है, सब कुछ दिया है. There is a question on mileage from when. See, generally, most of us run the full marathon in January, so we tend to compute the mileage from February. February, March, April, May is largely the 4 months of your mileage. Whether you choose to do 800 there or 1200 there is very runner to runner specific. So no problem. But it is generally from Feb. Garmin battery does not last. Garmin batteries now do last that distance. Most of the Garmin batteries do last that distance. If you have a Garmin which does not last that distance, which I had in my first 2 races, but so I started my Garmin at the half when I finished the first half. But these days Garmin batteries do last. So if you have it, or otherwise you just carry a simple digital watch on you along with it, so
No, no,
that you know.
have minimum screens, have minimum parameters on the watch,
Uh,
or maybe switch off the heart rate.
yeah, switch off the heart rate, reduce your parameters, or carry a simple analog watch which tells you
The
what
time.
time it is of the day, right? वो important है, so that you don't kind of lose out. So we'll kind of wrap up. Last comments, Aarti, from you and Sonali, because keep doing this more often, guys. So you will have a lot of people answering a lot of questions for us.
So, just two things. One is it's important because I made a mistake and I did not get any pictures from Comrades to have a bib belt because you have so many layers.
Yeah.
and you may end up wearing your bib on the innermost, which is your India ka
Hmm.
t-shirt, which you ultimately want to flaunt to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to have a big bib belt. So when you layer off, it's still your bib is still visible, and it's like, because same thing, Gitanjali, her bib got covered by a some
By
belt,
a phone.
and
Yeah.
she had difficulty. So I think this is a very important thing, that for
Yeah.
any such race where you have to have layer off, layer on, you need to have a bib belt. And second thing is, which is very important, is like I was coming to fueling during the race. You make sure, and there's a formula, you can use ChatGPT for that. As per your body weight and your pace, there's a requirement of how much calories you need to take on each and every hour, right? And I put that entire para on the group also. Just make sure you read through, kind of have a rough calculation of how much calories you need to intake in terms of potato, in terms of bananas, and even in terms of gels, right? So I actually had 11 gels in that 11 hours run, along with all the theplas and potatoes and bananas.
Wow.
So you should calculate that and make sure that you have it from the beginning. Don't wait till like कि अभी तो strong लग रहा है, I'll start from 20 or 30. So that is important thing. Use this technology to calculate and make sure you fuel well
Yeah.
from the beginning for your body weight,
Yeah.
not for your how you feel like fueling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
that's
the
it from my
one
side.
important point that you raised is the chip on your bib should not keep be very close to your phone, right? Because that is
Hmm.
what happened with Gitanjali. The chip well was conflicting with the phone, and that's why she couldn't register a lot of cutoffs. So please be sensible about this. Try to keep your chip phone and the bib a little away from each other. If you're carrying the phone, if you're not carrying, nothing like it, because the ample pictures click करेंगे लोग और आपको मिलेंगे वहां पे. So that is not something that you need to worry about. Yes, Sonali, last words from you.
Yeah, so something that I've learned from my coaches, and I'll always follow that is eat before you're hungry, drink before you feel thirsty, and walk before you feel tired.
Yeah,
So if for the
absolutely.
first 20 kilometers when you don't get anything, don't rely on them. By 20 kilometers is most of us will take around 2 to 2.5 hours at least to cover the 20 kilometers, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So in those 2.5 hours, you have if you haven't eaten well, and you
Hmm.
will be eating at 4:30 in the hotel. I mean,
Hmm.
before 4:30 you'll be eating in the hotel. So by 8 o'clock the gap is too wide, and if you haven't
Hmm.
eaten, you're famished there. So don't do
Hmm.
that mistake. Carry something with you. Could be a chocolate, could be chiक्की, could be banana, something, or maybe hotel से ही जो आप निकल रहे हैं तो एक peanut butter का sandwich लेकर you can carry that, put
Yeah.
it in your pocket, eat it, you know, but eat something before you feel hungry, drink before you feel thirsty, and walk before you feel tired. If you see a hill, you're feeling tired, maybe walk for 100 steps and then start running, even if you're very confident that you have trained well. And as I said, please calculate the distance, 1.5 kilometer more.
Yeah, correct. So great. I mean, this is good conversation. I think a lot of stuff and insights we have shared. I have recorded it. I'll put it up on YouTube for everyone to see it, whoever wants to. And guys, we'll keep doing this
One
again.
thing
Yes. Sorry,
I
Aarti.
want to just leave one thought with. Sorry, I'm sorry.
We can't hear you,
People
Aarti.
will, so I've done many. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying one thing. My experience with all the ultras I've done so far, people don't DNF. I don't use the word, but people don't DNF because the body doesn't, like, body has given up. They do DNF because the mind has given up. So races is all about mindset.
Hmm.
Never ever give up in the race.
Hmm.
You will be able to finish only if you decide आज मैं करके मेडल लेके ही जाऊंगा, तो you will get that medal. Never ever in the race give up. Just keep moving. Don't give
Yeah.
up. Your body will definitely 110% manifestation would work and support you, but don't give up.
Yeah.
That's the last message.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this inspiring closing comments, Aarti. And thank you, Sonali, for doing this again for us. I'm sure runners have benefited, and it is, I keep saying, right, you both have to get more runners, more female runners to Comrades. And we, of course, need more female runners to get a green number. So thank you. I'll see you all on the road, and we'll hopefully meet at Tata Ultra. There is a similar session at the expo at around 4:35 in the evening with Satish and me. So if you guys are running the Ultra, try to be at the expo at that time for similar such session where we'll talk about Comrades. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Kashyap, for
you.
Yeah.
inviting.
Bye.
Thank you.